Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of videos. Let's have a look at this first puzzle. So this is puzzle number 15, day number 15 of chess.com's puzzle of the day. It's black to move, see if you can try and win this position. Okay, so the move for this one is a very nice quick attack here. So you'll notice firstly that we've got the rook and the bishop here. We do need to be a little bit careful. We don't want to be swapping off rooks, for example, in this position, as the resultant endgame will probably end in a draw due to these opposite coloured bishops. If you're not too sure what I'm talking about, or well, if I'm talking maybe French here, basically opposite coloured bishops are a well-known sort of drawing ending, so we need to be careful of that. Again, not too sure on that. Probably I would suggest check out something like Jeremy Someone's book or whatever. Okay, so here we have this position. You'll notice here that this king and this rook, they're on a similar diagonal, but if we play the move bishop to c5, it looks as though white can, in return, attack our rook. So we need to do a little bit of calculation here. We've hit a little hurdle. What can we play next here? And hopefully, if you found the first move, the next move should come automatically. And you might actually stumble into the solution quite quickly. So here the move is bishop to c5 check. Okay, hitting the king and the rook. The king comes over to here. How do we take this rook without this rook being captured? Well, we need to throw in another forcing move here. And that is rook check to the king. What's lovely about this is after the king moves away, we've got our rook safe because now the bishop is defending it. We can now take this rook over here for free. The position is pretty much won for black now. So a really nice position and a really cute little ending. Let's have a look at another position. Okay, so here is the puzzle that came out today. This position is also quite interesting. It's got a very interesting hint as to what the solution to this puzzle is, and that is pinned pieces I think can't do anything. And you can hopefully see here and appreciate that black has pinned this knight over on the square, and obviously this knight, although it exerts quite a lot of defensive pressure around white's king, it's of course powerless due to the fact that he is pinned by the queen here. So hopefully with this information you might find the first move here. So I should also mention, by the way, this knight is defending this knight, so we can't necessarily take this this knight, and also you don't want to do moves such as king to h1. This does look pretty good because the rook is actually pinning this knight, but the king can slide over to e2 and then escape into the sunset, you know, like a bit of a cowboy or something in a cowboy film. Anyway, I don't know why I mentioned that. So in this position, it is black to move. Try and see if you can find the move here, and hopefully you've spotted the move bishop to h3 check. Really powerful forcing move as a check, so white has to react to this. The only legal move here is king to g1, taking advantage of the fact that the knight is pinned here, and then we have a simple checkmate, queen to g2 checkmate. I hope you got this one. This is not too bad, this particular puzzle, but it's an interesting puzzle to show off the strength of, at least emphasize the theme of how powerless pin pieces are and how powerful a pin is as a tactic. Okay, let's have a look at the third and final position. Our final one comes from the American Chess Magazine. A little bit more tricky, this particular one, but hopefully not in terms of compositions. This is not the hardest one that I've ever seen, and you'll sort of begin to see why that's the case in just a moment. So this is a very interesting position. It's white to move. You've got to checkmate the black king in 2 moves against all defences. Now, there are a number of ways to win, normally in the practical sense, but there's only one way that wins in 2 moves. So give it a try, see if you can solve it. Okay, so let's go through the solutions. The first thing I would mention is black's lack of flight squares. He's got no legal squares that he can go to. By the way, this pawn is going up the board, I should also mention, which is why it covers these 2 squares. In case you're wondering, and maybe I'm maybe most of you probably know this already. When the board is oriented like this, with A1 in the bottom left corner and H1 in the bottom right corner, then you know that white is going up the board, okay? When it's the other way round, then you know that black is going this particular way, okay? So again, some orientation just to mention. Most compositions tend to be in this direction, and well, I say most, pretty much all of them are. And also I should mention that normally it's always white to move in compositions, because you compose the piece, you kind of create that sort of position. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So here we have this position now. It may look simple because it looks as though all white needs to do is get a check here. And you might think, okay, rook to a6, sorry, check, seems like a great move. The problem is now the knight can capture, and okay, you get this check in and it looks like it's mate, but black can sacrifice his rook. And yes, it is checkmate in 3, but it's not checkmate in 2. We need to do something a bit better. The same problem applies if, let's say, we try and put our queen over there. Black has got a lot of different moves to prevent the mate. And I think everything else doesn't really work too well. The knight's not going to be really able to help in trying to attack the king here, and even moving the king over, for example, doesn't really help his cause. You know, you can throw the check over here, and then if, let's say, the king comes over here, a few moves work here. Maybe knight to c6 is the simplest way to refute this particular solution. So you may then think, okay, well, I can't get in over there. Shall we go the other side? And you think, okay, right, I'm going to go over this way. And hey, look, we're threatening this. The problem is, though, black has still got some defences to this. Namely, he can move his queen over to h3, blocking the access. And okay, you can take the queen, you've got a winning position, but it's not then going to be checkmate in only 2 moves here. And you can also play queen here, that also guards this square, again preventing the mate for more than 2 moves. So going back over here, we have to think of something very cunning. And when I mean really cunning, we have to find a very powerful threatening move here that black has to respond to. So once you've maybe looked around a little bit and you realise, okay, this way I can't go, this way I can't go, you then might be able to see the solution. And it is the improbable, but I think actually doable, this particular puzzle, the move queen to e4. Really nice. Okay, this, you might, again, you'll be surprised by this, but remember, and I showed you at the start with the escape squares of the king, he just needs to find a check, and the only other piece that can really do any checks are these pawns, but we need to get these particular pawns out the way first. So queen to e4 is such a powerful move because now we're threatening just to simply come to either d5 or f5, winning the game on the spot. So I should mention first, okay, right, black thinks ridiculous, I can do this. Well, now d5 can be played. Checkmate, a very nice pawn checkmate. The knight really was very important being here in guarding that square. And again, if you take over this way, well, this pawn moves forward, another really nice pawn checkmate. And there's nothing else that works here for black. He could try to maybe attack the queen here, but you're still going to go over to this particular square with the queen. And if you try and, if you try and parry one of the threats with maybe the rook, for example, defending this, then you go over this way. And there's nothing else that works here. Knight over here is met by this. And what else here? I think maybe knight to d7. Well, it doesn't really do anything, this one. You can either take this way or this way, both win on the spot. Okay, so a really nice, cute little puzzle here, doing this really nice waiting move to win this game. Now, I wasn't going to share this particular puzzle with you at the end, but I think as a nice bonus puzzle, here is a really interesting position that I had in one of my games. Now, in this position, it is white to move, and again, according to the engine, it's probably about even. But you can see that white's got a little bit of pressure on these open to semi-open files. He's got this very nasty pawn on d6 that holds a lot of venom in his position, and I use a bit of tactics to kind of win this particular game. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is to kind of maybe at least demonstrate to you some of the some of the work that I do with tactics to kind of help me in my games. It does help me calculate out positions really well. It helps me in these sort of positions where I'm not overly sure what to do in this position, but I have some interesting plans and interesting threats that I play here. Now, the best move is actually queen to f2, which sets up a nasty trap here. But in the game I played queen to f4, which again sets up a very nasty trap. Now, it looks as though black can play the move d5, which he does in this game. And this had a simple idea. He's now blocking the axis of the rook, and he's going to take this pawn on d6 and have what looks to be a comfortable position. And if I didn't have this particular move, I would be completely losing. Black would take this pawn, he's got the extra pawn, he's still got a bit of an attack going along here, and he would have a winning position. However, I knew if he played this move, I could unleash a devastating trap against him. Here in this position, I played the move rook takes on d5. I sacrificed the rook quite literally. So here I do an exchange sacrifice, and black is toast here. He fought for a long time, spent about 15 minutes over the board trying to work out what to do next. In the game, he decided to take this pawn, which seems to be the best continuation, but now with this pawn being captured, I can unleash the power of this pawn over here with the move rook to e7, a key infiltration square. Look at my attack now against the black king. So I'm threatening here checkmate in only 2 moves. So let's say he takes this pawn, I win in 2. Or he has to give up the queen. In the game he gives up the queen, and I have a very, very nice position. I will just show you the ending very quickly. Queen came to d6. I was kind of threatening to try and infiltrate and then push this pawn forward. Black can't do anything in this position. It's just an awful position to be in as black. He moved his rook over. By the way, if you're interested, if he, let's say he moves, I don't know, his rook up here, for example, queen to d7, I start to actually infiltrate in, and he would have to give up he'd have to move his rook back basically in order not to lose loads of material. In the game, I thought this was really quite instructive. I move my knight, I get it into the action, and he tries to squirm out of this position, king to g7 to get at least off the back rank. And now I played the move knight to d8. Just thought this was really cool, this move. The point being that if he takes here, I take back, and I've basically got a queen versus rook position and a completely dominant position, and anything else doesn't really work here. If he takes this, for example, I can take here and I've got a great position, or I can even take this rook first, threatening. I think I would have done this instead actually, which would threaten on f7, and yeah, it's just a dreadful position. So I thought it was a really fun game just to show you, some of those tactics that I was kind of how they can help me in certain games, and how they help me calculate out these forcing lines against black. I didn't have to do too much calculating. All I had to calculate was capture here and then put the rook here, threatening mate. And my opponent missed it. He was actually, again, quite a strong player, but he didn't see this potentially absurd move that could come out of nowhere and win this position. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found this instructive, and I hope you are able to go through some of these puzzles today and be able to solve them for your future endeavours. In any case, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.